Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about snowstorms that's going to be breaking out across the U.S. with some record cold temperatures and then even some ice all the way down into Oklahoma and Texas. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And also, I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that may be impacted by this system. So let's kind of delve into the details. What you're looking at right now is the overall weather outlook for Saturday. We had that first initial cold front that moved through last night for the deep south. Rain out ahead of it today on Saturday for the southeast as well as the northeast. But back behind it, we have a secondary strongest cold front of the year. We've got a lot of snow that's breaking out for much of Montana, into the Dakotas, down into Wyoming, and even getting into Nebraska. And then we're starting to get a little bit of changeover into Idaho, Utah, places like even Denver will start feeling the effects of this initial blast today. So, but by Sunday, that system just pulls down even further, dragging down the colder air. Now we have a massive breakout of snow, and that pulls down a little bit further, and Iowa will get in the action as well as Minnesota and Wisconsin. And then deep in the heart of Colorado, you'll get a lot of snow in the Denver area where heavy snow is potentially possible. And down further south, we'll have that kind of a changeover, getting into Nevada, parts of Arizona and New Mexico. And then that'll extend all the way down into parts of the Panhandle in Oklahoma and Texas, and pulling up into Kansas and Wisconsin. So we'll start to get a little bit of changeover. And then it'll be all rain by Sunday night as you get far south by the Dallas-Fort Worth area and points into, eastern Oklahoma into Arkansas. But by Monday, that colder air just extends even further south, dragging the snow line down all the way down into the Texas Panhandle. Of course, this is October, so this is some very cold air for this time of year, and we'll start to get a little bit of a changeover, and that's where we could have that changeover from snow to freezing rain, and then create potentially a light glaze or an ice storm on the roads for parts of the Panhandle, all the way down, maybe getting into the Lubbock area. And then northern Oklahoma into Missouri and Illinois, you'll get in the action. And down further south, it'll be an all rain event for much of Dallas and into Texas and parts of Arkansas. But overall, the look this morning for the hazards, we're looking at basically a winter storm warnings for much of Montana and into the Dakotas, and even some blizzard warnings and parts of Montana as well. But those red flag warnings in Colorado, man, those fires have just been relentless, and some extreme winds for you guys today and Colorado. But hopefully with that cold front and some of that snow coming in, that will maybe put a little bit of a squash on those fires, at least a little bit. And then that freeze watch extends all the way down into Oklahoma, getting into northern portions of Texas. But now let's take a look at some of the anomalies. And this is really impressive for October. This is the 25th on Sunday. And that secondary front, the coldest of the fronts, is now deep entrenched into Montana and Wyoming, dragging those 40 degree below average temperatures down, with Arctic air coming down from the polar regions from the northwest. And then out ahead of it, very warm temperatures out in Texas and much of the southeast, as we're waiting for that cold spell. But back behind it, as far as like precipitation goes, we're talking snow can break out in parts of, Colorado and Nebraska and Kansas and Iowa. So be looking for some snow on Wednesday. And down to the south, then that's where we're watching Zeta getting its act together and trying to enter the Gulf of Mexico by then. This will be Sunday evening, and much of the rain will on the right quadrant of this storm feeding into south, Florida and much of the Bahamas by then, dumping a relentless amount of rain into the Caribbean, just waiting to enter the Gulf of Mexico. But as far as the snowfall picture goes, by Sunday night, from basically Saturday through Sunday for the next 2 days, some pretty generous amounts into Idaho and places like Montana, starting to get into the Colorado regions and South Dakota and Nebraska. Some, a good swath of 6 to 8 inches across that area. And like I said, that will only extend further southward as that cold front pushes southward, because now the anomalies by Monday afternoon, these are noontime temperatures. Now we're talking almost 40 degrees below normal in Amarillo in the Texas Panhandle, and those 40 plus degree normal temperatures will be set all over Colorado and Nebraska and Kansas, and that will extend all the way down into Texas. So you'll get that first initial blast in the Dallas-Fort Worth area Sunday night, and that colder air will drop temperatures basically from the 80s through the 50s through the 40s all day on Monday in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then you're just kind of waiting for that colder air to extend into Houston, but that will only get kind of a glancing blow. But yeah, the snow should break out ahead of this front, with some snow in the Texas Panhandle and Kansas and Colorado regions, with some ice potentially changing over, with that transition phase between Oklahoma and Kansas, and rain out ahead of it. And then, of course, we're watching Zeta on Monday entering the Gulf of Mexico. And by Tuesday into Wednesday morning, that changeover we're still having with that northwest flow aloft, bringing in those colder temperatures, and there's still some rain showers around. So yeah, we could see a transition over from snow to ice into the Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma. So yeah, some dangerous driving conditions possibly in this area while we're awaiting Zeta. So it just depends on the timing of this cold front. Typically Arctic air is really dense, it's really heavy, so it travels a little bit faster than what the models actually can pick up on. So that's why I think this one's going to be a little bit further south and potentially pick up Zeta a little bit further east as we go down the period. So, but we still have 5 days to watch this system and how it kind of all plays out with the timing of everything. But yeah, here's the latest setup for the freezing rain, the ice accumulations possibly in the Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma, some fairly generous amounts. It doesn't take much to have slick roads, so this could max out to 3/4 of an inch, but overall, probably a 1/4 inch glaze on the roads as we have those temperatures fall into the 20s in this area as precipitation falls. So yeah, definitely be looking out for some hazard travel conditions in the Panhandle, and this might extend all the way down into the Lubbock area, and of course get into the Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle. But as far as the snowfall outlook, man, it's pretty impressive that, as we're talking October here. By Wednesday, the entire accumulations will start with snow in the Texas Panhandle, and we'll have a good mix of freezing rain to ice, and it's going to be a pretty messy setup in Amarillo. And like I mentioned, this could extend far south as maybe have a little bit of a dusting of snow into Lubbock, but most of the transition is going to be possibly freezing rain and then potentially ice accumulations on the road. But yeah, back behind it, some pretty impressive totals, up to 1 foot of snow, and especially in the mountains of Colorado and getting into New Mexico by the whole duration of event. And this snow will extend into Kansas and the Nebraska area and get into upper portions of Missouri even, as well as Illinois. And then places like Iowa will just add to your snow already, because you've already received some this year. But man, these wind chills are going to be really impressive coming up on Monday morning. We're talking, these are all negative, below zero wind chills for a good chunk of the central U.S. And this is 10, almost 20 degrees below zero wind chills. So that's going to be bone chilling cold. And those wind chills will just get into the teens in the Texas Panhandle by Monday morning, and that colder air will start filtering in and obviously extend further south, getting into Texas now with those single digits into the Panhandle of Texas, and of course back behind it, some of those negative below zero wind chills will extend all the way down into Kansas as well. But that cold front only gets so far south, and much of the southeast will be mixed out of this cold front. Obviously, Florida will as well. So this colder air will extend all the way, just a glancing blow into Houston, but much of the cold air will be well north and miss the southeast. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like it. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to share with your friends on social media that might be impacted from this system coming up over the next several days. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next video where I protect you before and after the storm.